Let me say, can I say one thing?
please.
To me, Stanley, the great Stanley Kubrick,
Yeah.
was an actor's enemy.
Well, he did 100 takes.
He was an
personally.
actor's enemy. And I can point to movies that he's done, the worst performances I've ever seen in
When
movies.
people talk about Hollywood legends, few names command as much respect as Robert Duvall. For more than 7 decades, Duvall built a reputation as one of the finest actors of his generation. Whether he was portraying Tom Hagen in The Godfather, Lieutenant Colonel Kilgore in Apocalypse Now, or Max Sledge in Tender Mercies, his performances were defined by authenticity, restraint, and an unwavering commitment to truth. But Duvall was never known for diplomacy. Unlike many actors who carefully navigate Hollywood politics, Duvall often spoke his mind. If he disagreed with another actor's methods or a director's approach, he rarely hid it. Throughout his career, he developed a reputation for blunt honesty, sometimes criticizing some of the most celebrated figures in cinema history. Today, we're taking a closer look at Robert Duvall's most controversial opinions, professional disagreements, and Hollywood feuds. Some involved fellow actors. Others centered on directors whose filmmaking philosophies clashed with his own. But all of them reveal something important about Duvall himself, a man who believed acting was a craft built on discipline, preparation, and truth. Number 1. Marlon Brando. Perhaps no disagreement better illustrates Duvall's philosophy than his long-running criticism of Marlon Brando. On screen, the two actors created movie history together in The Godfather. Brando's Don Vito Corleone and Duvall's Tom Hagen became two of the most iconic characters ever captured on film. Audiences saw a relationship built on loyalty and mutual respect. Behind the scenes, however, Duvall viewed Brando very differently. Over the years, Duvall repeatedly criticized Brando's working habits. While he acknowledged Brando's enormous influence on modern acting, he questioned the methods that many others considered genius. One of Duvall's biggest complaints involved Brando's reliance on cue cards. According to multiple interviews, Brando often avoided memorizing large portions of dialogue, instead having lines placed around the set or attached to props. Duvall later suggested that what some viewed as spontaneity was, at least in part, a result of laziness. In a 2022 interview with the AV Club, Duvall discussed Brando's approach and argued that actors could still be spontaneous while fully knowing their lines. He believed preparation enhanced creativity rather than limiting it. For Duvall, acting was built upon discipline. He spent countless hours learning scripts and understanding characters before stepping in front of a camera. Brando's more unpredictable style represented the opposite philosophy. Yet despite these criticisms, Duvall never denied Brando's importance to cinema. He frequently acknowledged that Brando revolutionized screen acting and influenced generations of performers. The disagreement wasn't really personal. It was ideological. Both men wanted truthful performances. They simply believed there were very different paths to achieving them. Number 2. Stanley Kubrick. If there was one filmmaker Duvall publicly criticized more harshly than almost anyone else, it was legendary director Stanley Kubrick. What's particularly fascinating is that Duvall never actually worked with Kubrick. His criticism came entirely from observing Kubrick's films and learning about his directing methods. During a famous Hollywood Reporter Actors Roundtable in 2010, Duvall made headlines when he described Kubrick as an actor's enemy. He went even further, questioning Kubrick's practice of filming dozens and sometimes hundreds of takes for a single scene. For Duvall, excessive retakes damaged performances rather than improving them. He believed great acting emerged from preparation followed by instinct. Once actors became exhausted from endless repetition, he argued, authenticity began to disappear. During the same discussion, Duvall pointed to films such as The Shining and A Clockwork Orange, arguing that while they might be great movies, they did not contain great performances. His comments shocked many film fans because Kubrick is widely regarded as one of cinema's greatest directors. Yet Duvall never backed down. To him, the actor's craft deserved protection. Directors who pushed performers through dozens of takes were sacrificing human truth in pursuit of technical perfection. Many film historians disagree with Duvall's assessment. Kubrick's defenders argue that his meticulous approach produced unforgettable performances and groundbreaking films. But the controversy highlights a fundamental debate in filmmaking. Who matters more, the actor or the director? Duvall always knew his answer. Number 3. Henry Hathaway. One of Duvall's earliest professional clashes occurred during the production of the 1969 Western True Grit. The film starred the legendary John Wayne and was directed by veteran filmmaker Henry Hathaway. At the time, Hathaway represented old Hollywood authority. He came from a generation of directors who expected absolute obedience on set. Duvall came from a different world. He was part of a younger generation influenced by method acting, realism, and emotional authenticity. The clash was almost inevitable. Years later, Duvall openly admitted that he and Hathaway did not get along. According to various interviews, Duvall found Hathaway's directing style rigid and controlling. He disliked being told exactly how to perform emotional moments, believing that genuine emotion could not simply be ordered on command. One story from the set has become particularly famous. Hathaway allegedly instructed Duvall in a very direct and forceful manner before a scene. To Duvall, this approach violated everything he believed about acting. Instead of helping actors discover emotions naturally, Hathaway seemed to demand specific results. The experience left a lasting impression on Duvall. Although True Grit became a classic and earned John Wayne his only Academy Award, Duvall rarely spoke fondly about working under Hathaway's direction. For him, the production represented a battle between two completely different eras of filmmaking. Number 4. Bruce Beresford. Unlike some of Duvall's conflicts, his relationship with director Bruce Beresford was complicated. The two collaborated on Tender Mercies, the film that ultimately earned Duvall the Academy Award for Best Actor. By most standards, the partnership was a tremendous success. Yet success doesn't always mean harmony. Duvall and Beresford reportedly approached filmmaking from different perspectives. Beresford was known for careful planning and detailed control over his productions. Duvall preferred flexibility and spontaneity. Despite these differences, both men shared a commitment to realism, which helped keep the production on track. The remarkable irony is that one of Duvall's greatest artistic achievements emerged from a collaboration that was not always comfortable. Rather than producing open hostility, their disagreements created creative tension. Sometimes that tension can strengthen a film. Tender Mercies remains one of the most respected performances of Duvall's career, proving that artists do not always need to agree in order to create something extraordinary. Number 5. David Fincher. Another filmmaker whose methods conflicted with Duvall's philosophy was David Fincher. Like Kubrick, Fincher became famous for demanding numerous takes. Actors who have worked with Fincher often describe shooting the same scene dozens of times. Some performers thrive under that system. Others find it exhausting. Duvall clearly belonged to the second group. During discussions about filmmaking, he frequently expressed skepticism toward directors who required endless repetition. Although Duvall never developed a public feud with Fincher, he questioned whether dozens of takes genuinely improved performances. The issue again came down to trust. Duvall believed directors should trust actors. Fincher believed perfection emerged through repetition and refinement. Neither approach is inherently right or wrong. Both have produced acclaimed films and award-winning performances. But for Duvall, acting was a living process. Once spontaneity disappeared, something valuable was lost. That belief remained consistent throughout his entire career. Number 6. Robert De Niro. Perhaps the most misunderstood relationship on this list involves fellow acting giant Robert De Niro. Contrary to many internet rumors, there is little evidence of any serious feud between Duvall and De Niro. The two actors respected each other's accomplishments and appeared together in The Godfather Part 2. However, their acting philosophies differed significantly. De Niro became famous for transformative performances. He gained weight, lost weight, learned new skills, changed accents, and immersed himself completely in characters. Duvall admired commitment but focused on something different. He valued simplicity. While many actors pursued transformation, Duvall pursued truth. His performances often appeared effortless because he stripped away anything unnecessary. Rather than drawing attention to technique, he wanted audiences to forget they were watching acting altogether. Over the years, some commentators interpreted Duvall's reserved comments about De Niro as criticism. But the evidence suggests something more nuanced. Duvall wasn't attacking De Niro. He simply represented a different school of thought. One actor emphasized transformation. The other emphasized authenticity. Both became legends. Both won Academy Awards. And both left enormous marks on film history. What these disagreements reveal about Robert Duvall. When you examine all these controversies together, a clear pattern emerges. The story isn't really about the people Duvall criticized. It's about Duvall himself. Whether discussing Marlon Brando's preparation habits, Stanley Kubrick's endless takes, Henry Hathaway's authoritarian directing style, or David Fincher's perfectionism, Duvall consistently defended the same values: discipline, preparation, honesty, authenticity. He believed actors should know their lines, understand their characters, and then trust their instincts. Anything that interfered with that process drew his criticism. That's why some people viewed him as stubborn. Others saw him as principled. The truth probably lies somewhere in between. Hollywood has always been filled with larger-than-life personalities, competing egos, and conflicting artistic visions. Duvall never pretended otherwise. He spoke openly about what he believed, even when those opinions challenged widely accepted narratives. In an industry where many stars carefully manage every public statement, Duvall's blunt honesty often stood out. Sometimes it created controversy. Sometimes it sparked debate. But it always felt genuine. And perhaps that's the most fitting legacy for an actor who spent his life searching for truth on screen. Robert Duvall didn't want to be known as a celebrity. He wanted to be known as a craftsman. Whether people agreed with his opinions or not, few would question his commitment to the craft he loved. That commitment shaped every performance, every interview, and every disagreement throughout his remarkable career. And decades after his greatest films were released, those convictions continue to fuel conversations among actors, directors, critics, and movie fans around the world. The question remains, was Robert Duvall right about the people he criticized? The answer depends on who you ask. But one thing is certain. He never compromised what he believed.